Match number 9. George, Lizzie and Ralph versus Colossal Titan and Armored Titan versus Rogue Titan by Shipper's Dreamer. Become the saviors of humanity and finally put an end to the Titans. Those were the immortal words etched into the souls and hearts of a secret government project designed to breed their own brand of Titan shifters to fight them back. Out of all the candidates, 3 civilians were ultimately chosen as perfect for their roles. George was a metal worker from Walmaria. While he wasn't forging the...
Is that the apocalypse version of Walmart?
Damn.
While he wasn't forging the swords needed for the ODMG equipment, he was contracted by the military from time to time with other metal work. Elizabeth, known as Lizzie by her 2 co-workers, as she put it, was of noble birth. While her family protested her involvement, she insisted she participate for the betterment of humanity. Ralph was the last candidate, a small business owner who recently found a boon in profits after Walmaria fell. These 3 made up the core of the Rampage program. Almost each day they would come together for all sorts of tests and experiments, and had managed to kindle something of a friendship. They fucked. They sat together in the laboratory, chatting idly with one another.
I cannot believe my husband has the gall to suspect what I'm doing.
Lizzie huffed angrily.
I keep telling him over and over that it's for the betterment of humanity and that it's a secret.
Ralph shook his head a little in amusement.
My daughter's the opposite, you see.
He replied.
She's basically sworn because I'm leaving the shop with her basically while this project thing goes on. I just hope I don't come home to catch her with the man. Or men.
George noted. The metal worker began laughing at Ralph's indignant spluttering, and Lizzie snorted and hit her friend on the arm.
Oh, George, really, behave yourself. You'll give poor Ralph nightmares of his beloved daughter surrounded by a bunch of pigs, like the military police of all things considered, and leaving his shop all alone, unattended. Although I can't say which scenario is worse, the shop or his daughter.
She gave Ralph a wicked smile as George roared with laughter, and the shop owner rolled his eyes a little.
Har, 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 very funny, you two. My daughter's not a whore, damn it, and I'll have you know that.
He was cut off by the sound of bells, and all their eyes widened and looked out towards the door.
The bells? Wee, 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 wee.
Ralph murmured in disbelief. Lizzie's voice was hushed with fear as she spoke.
But that means the Titans have breached Wall Rose.
The door to the lab burst open, and they all jumped as they saw Dr. Veronica adjust her lopsided glasses with her free hand, her hair spilling out of her buns.
You 3, it's time.
They stiffened, and she handed each of them a vial of green liquid.
It's not fully prepared yet, but we have no other choice. Drink this and save us all.
George eyed the vial.
What'll do to us, huh? Will it give me something like male enhancement?
The scientist shook her head frantically.
George, the Titans are coming! Just drink the damn thing already! You signed up for this, didn't you? You wanted to become a savior of humanity. Well, saving humanity means drinking that vial now!
Unless I get that male enhancement, you
Look
see.
at how many enhancements you want! Drink the fucking thing!
Okay.
There was a brief silence before as one they downed the vials of green liquid, Lizzie shuddering a little.
Ugh! It's disgusting!
She coughed, slumping against the wall as she gave a violent shiver. Ralph dropped the vial.
I don't think it was that bad.
Ralph dropped the vial, the glass shattering as he clutched his face.
Hey, what did you give us? I don't feel so good.
He groaned in pain, squeezing his eyes. George heaved, covering his face with his hand, unaware that brown fur was growing on it.
I sound like Fat Albert now. Must be a side effect.
Dr. Veronica's eyes widened as she stepped back from the transforming humans as they began growing in size. She quickly left the lab and ran out of the building as they burst from the ceiling. A giant brown ape, a giant green lizard, and a giant blue wolf were soon standing above her.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I kind of now headcanon that instead of Ralph turning into a wolf, he turned into Fat Albert.
George pounded his chest and roared along with his comrades. Lizzie blew a steam of fire into the air. Ralph howled into the sky. The sound of explosions and screaming caught the monster's attention, and turned to see Colossal Titan's massive form towering over the wall. The armored Titan had broken through the boulder securing Wall Rose. Snarling, the three monsters set off in a dead sprint towards the incoming Titan horde.
Oh my god.
Dr. Veronica said, watching them go off.
We've created monsters.
Harley, you're a little bit on the quiet side there. I don't know if that was purposeful or it just sounded
Oh
like the
my
mic
god.
was okay. You don't need to repeat your line. It caught up fine.
We've created monsters!
Okay, I heard you the first
They
time.
didn't create monsters. They created CGI abominations.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be fun.
Stop motion.
Alright, okay, is this next part Aaron's? I think so. Okay, yeah, it is. Oh boy. Too soon. On the battlefield, Mikasa Ackerman propelled herself forward with her omnidirectional maneuver gear, easily slicing apart two lesser titans as Eren Yeager stared at the armored titan advancing towards them, uncaring that the ground beneath him was rumbling. I was hoping you two would come back, he said aloud, causing his teammates to pause. I was hoping you two would be foolish enough to come back. Now I can finally slaughter you both with my bare hands! He raised his hand to his mouth. Just before he bit into it, Mikasa grabbed him and carried him off.
Eren, move!
He barely had time to register Mikasa's words as George, Lizzie, and Ralph barreled past, trampling anyone who was unfortunate enough to be in their way as horses and carts were sent flying into the air by the monsters. What the hell are those? He wondered aloud. The appearance of these monsters took the armored and colossal titan aback a little, based on their confusion and shocked body language. The Scout Corps watched in awe and confusion as the three monsters tore through the titans. They quickly recovered.
I don't know what the hell those things are, but as long as they don't attack us, they're allies.
Commander Erwin announced, raising his sword.
All units, keep fighting until all the titans are gone.
The Scout Corps hollered their battle cry as a crack of yellow lightning slammed down onto Eren, and through the smoke, the rogue titan bellowed in fury as he sprinted towards the armored titan. The war for Wall Rose was on. Pass.
The Colossal Titan monsters grunted as George leaped into the air, latching onto a giant titan and began climbing the beast. The Colossal Titan raised his arm to strike at the giant ape, but George was grabbing onto his shoulders and rearing his feet back, giving a hellacious kick that stumbled the mighty titan, moving to avoid the giant hand clapping against the giant titan's neck. The armored titan briefly looked over, before turning his attention back towards the rogue titan, shifting into a fighting stance, the two staring out of nowhere and tackled the armored creature to the ground. The rogue titan was taken aback as the giant wolf viciously scratched and bit at the armored titan, snarling in its face. The armored titan grunted in surprise and threw the roof off of him, staring up only to be met by the rogue titan crashing into him and latching into his arm. Into his arm? Would be on to his arm, right? Sense. The Colossal Titan roared as Lizzie clambered up his front. The two monsters were ejected off the giant titan's being as hard, superheating the two monsters crashing onto the ground. Lizzie was unfazed to the heat and inhaled. George roared in anger as the small Grabbing one of them, he bit into its whole upper half and swallowed it in one gulp before swinging one of his arms, batting Titans easily, flying across the district and slamming into buildings.
What power!
Hayes yelled in delight.
I hope when this is over we get a chance to study these beautiful creatures.
Her eyes widened as Lizzie shot a stream of fire at the Colossal Titan, engulfing the giant beast in a giant torrent of flames. The Colossal Titan roared in pain and began stumbling forward.
Oh my god.
Commander Irwin watched the chaotic fight out of the corner of his eye.
Don't be distracted.
He bellowed.
Our objective is to assist Irwin and the monsters. Attack!
Do you think he's
Very
compensating
cool.
for something? For those cats?
Well, he's not going to be the only one then.
Yep.
Corpse launched into action, speeding right into the chaotic mess at the armored Titan, howled in agony as the Rogue Titan wrenched his arm
That's right.
and foot from.
Give me your fucking arm so I can beat you to death with it!
The Rogue
Out
Titan
the
bellowed.
edge.
The Rogue Titan bellowed furiously, cranking the arm back more, the armor cracking a blood swing. The armor Titan slowly rose to its feet and roared as he slammed Erin down over and over again, desperately trying to free his arm. Mikas's eyes narrowed and blitzed into the fray, on his Titan's knee and inflicting another roar of pain into one knee. Ralph sniffed the air and licked his lips as the smell of scented blood hit his nostrils. With an enraged howl, he eagerly tore to the Titan's weakened leg joint, shredding of his claws while clapping down with his face. The Rogue Titan roared as he cranked the arm over.
Just a little more.
Erin fought. The armored Titan screamed as the Rogue Titan tore off his arm and Ralph ripped his leg. The Rogue Titan bellowed of his vicious assault, tearing at the weakened armor in an attempt to rip it off the Titan.
Is someone
Hello?
passing?
That's a pass.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't hear you.
Yeah, we didn't hear you.
You need to speak up.
Can you hear me now?
Alright, Joe. You're up.
The burning colossal titan howled in pain and slowly raised his foot before slamming it down on the ground. The ground cracked and shattered. The giant lizard and ape lost their footing and toppled down to the ground. The colossal titan raised his arm and swept it. Lizzie managed to rise to her feet as the colossal titan's attacked to score a direct hit. Blood and teeth splattering with the giant lizard sent flying, crashing into the Rogue Titan and Rel. George began climbing the Colossal Titan again, the searing pain of the Titan's body heat only fueling his attempt to go after the Colossal Titan's nape again.
Sexy.
The gigantic Titan reached behind him, finally managing to grab the writhing ape. Slowly, the giant beast turned around and raised the hand holding George high into the air. Everyone watched as the Colossal Titan swung his hand over Wall Rose and pitched George directly across the wall. The ape's screams of pain were drowned out as he crashed onto the ground, dust flying into the air. The Rogue Titan focused his attention back towards the Armored Titan, and roared as he began pulling at the armored plates, eager to rip them off the disabled Titan. The Colossal Titan turned towards his comrade, and slowly began making his way to help the downed Titan. Ralph and Lizzie roared at the titanic beast, the wolf taking a deep breath before unleashing his super howl. Windows across the entirety of Wall Rose shattered as the Colossal Titan was pushed back by the wall of sound, and Lizzie once again sent a gout of flames at the hulking beast. Colossal Titan roared in agony as he was once again set aflame. The Rogue Titan bellowed in fury as he finally ripped off one of the armor plates. The Armored Titan was bellowing in agony.
That's it. Scream! Scream your heart out! Because this is the last chance you'll ever get to do it, you fucking traitor! Oh.
Ow, the edge.
Kaiju X, you read that wrong. It's supposed to be Screonking Traitor.
Nah, you're just reading the pussy version.
Aaron bellowed out in anger before the Rogue Titan finally exposed the other Titan's nape and ripped it off to reveal the terrified reindeer.
Oh, you got it right. It's Reiner.
Okay. George opened his eyes and roared in pain as Titans began gnawing at him. He furiously threw the annoying pests off and looked up at the wall, steam and smoke billowing into the sky as the fight raged on the other side.
Wait, Joe. Kaiju X is not recording.
Keep
This
going.
is why.
Joe. Who cares?
This is exactly why I'm writing a match with Ben Miller.
Ruh-roh.
Keep going, Joe. Keep going.
I fucking lost my place.
Gritting his teeth.
Yeah, gritting his teeth. Ape howled.
Gritting his teeth, the ape howled and latched onto the wall, climbing his way up to rejoin the fight. Ralph paused and sniffed the air a little. The wolf licked his lips and growled hungrily, turning around and charging towards Aaron and Reiner.
Birdman, your part.
Alright. Like, what the hell is he doing?
Questioned Army Hammer. I mean Armin. And the survey corps watched as the wolf shoved the Rogue Titan away, ripping the Titan shifter out of the steaming corpse and staring down at the human. Everyone's eyes widened with terror as Ralph shoved the screaming Reiner into his mouth, chewing a moment before swallowing.
What the hell? Did they eat you?
Screamed Armin. Just leave. Mikasa glanced up at the wall and took a step back, pointing up. Let's join it.
Look.
They all followed where she was pointing, and everyone watched in terrified awe as George held a fistful of military police soldiers in his hand, and he tossed them up into the air before catching them in his mouth, swallowing them whole and grinning to himself a little. The ape focused his attention back at the Colossal Titan, zeroing in on his exposed nape.
Harambe, what more?
Come on, guys.
Pass.
I need rest. Can't you?
Are we passing
Pass.
or?
Pass?
Yeah, pass.
That would be me.
Yes, that would be you.
Okay.
The ape beat his burnt chest.
Okay, the ape beat his burnt chest and roared into the air before launching himself off the wall and right onto the Colossal Titan's back. The Titan grunted and staggered, bellowing as George furiously tore at the flesh to expose a human hiding underneath. Berthold looked up in horror as the ape ripped him out of the Colossal Titan's nape, and he ignored the human's screams as he was swallowed by the ape whole.
Like, they eat humans, but like, they attack Titans? Just what are these creatures?
Armin called out in disbelief, watching as the Colossal Titan's body fell onto the ground with a tremendous crash, smoke covering the whole battlefield. The Survey Corps watched as through the smoke, George, Lizzie, and Ralph, beaten, bloodied, and burnt, but still alive, walked out into the open, staring hungrily at the third and final wall and what lay beyond. They're likely not going to stop until we're all dead, Mikasa noted. Commander Irwin's eyes narrowed and he pointed his sword at the monsters.
These are no ally to humanity. They may not be Titans, but they're still monsters. Survey Corps, take these monsters down with all you got. Defend humanity to the bitter end.
The Survey Corps roared a battle cry and fearlessly sped off towards the monsters as Lizzie spat a stream of fire toward the charging soldiers. He effortlessly dodged around the flames as the Rogue Titan burst onto the scene, delivering a thunderous hook to Giraffe's right side, blood and teeth flying as the Blue Wolf was sent careening off to the side. George beat his chest again and sprinted towards the Rogue Titan, locking their hands together in a test of strength. Lizzie screeched as the green lizard swatted into the air, batting aside a few military police members before Mikasa sped by, cutting a large gash in her stomach. Lizzie howled in agony as she blew a stream of fire at humanity's last line of defense, Connie and Jean quickly moving to the side as a few of their comrades got bathed in fire.
Sounds relaxing.
Ralph slowly... Who laughed?
Pagoda.
Ralph slowly rose to his feet and shook his head before hearing a voice right next to him. Hey, Big Bad Wolf! The wolf's eyes flicked down towards Hanji. Sorry I gotta do this to you, big fella, but I promise I'll take good care of your body and study your loads, okay? The wolf snarled, but Hanji effortlessly zipped away, slashed at the wolf's throat with her blades. Her eyes widened as the blood trickled down his front, staining the white fur red as he gave a gurgled howl. Hanji watched in awe as Ralph began shrinking down into a bloodied inhuman and Ralph was caught up on the ground, shivering. What the hell? These creatures are human too? Just what on earth is going on? Hanji cried out. The Rogue Titan roared as they pushed him back.
He's stronger than he looks. I may not win this.
Aaron thought to himself as George managed to shove the Rogue Titan onto his back and sprawling away. Standing, the Rogue Titan glared at George.
No, I can't lose here. I never managed to get my revenge on those bastard traitors thanks to these monsters. And if I can't get my revenge on him, then I'll just have to get it on you!
Ow, the edge.
The Rogue Titan bellowed in righteous fury, sprinting towards the ape as the Berserk Titan shoulder tackled the giant mammal. George put up his hands to halt the Rogue Titan, but snorted in surprise as he was pushed back, feeling his feet skating across the ground before Aaron screamed in anger, clocking George in the jaw and sending the ape spiraling into the wall. The Rogue Titan watched us through the dust. The ape began climbing the wall again.
Where do you think you're going, you fucking monkey?
Ow, the edge.
The Rogue Titan climbed up after the ape, bellowing as he reached the top before a cannon George picked up slammed into him from the side of his head. Pass.
Okay, where'd you leave off? I had to change phone, so I'm kind of lost now.
You are crawling up on top of the wall. It's near the end.
You take.
Okay.
I'll take the last 3.
You take the last 3? Okay.
Yeah, so you have 6.
Yep.
Okay. Crawling up on top of the wall, the Rogue Titan and George stood tall, bellowing into the sky before sprinting at one another as the city below slowly turned into a raging inferno thanks to Lizzie's fire. Lizzie screamed as the scout corps cut into her more and more, battering a few soldiers into the inferno raging all around her. Mikasa's eyes narrowed at the giant lizard and latched onto one of the few standing buildings and propelled herself forward.
Nearly out of gas.
She commented to herself.
Have to take this thing down in one clean hit.
The young soldier screamed forward, spinning like a deadly top before slashing open the lizard's throat.
Just like that.
The giant monster... Yes. The giant monster gurgled, falling to her knees before she shrunk down. The shivering and naked form of Elizabeth greeted her, and Mikasa turned her attention to the top of the wall where George and Aaron were having their showdown.
Aaron, be safe.
Aaron and George were having an all-out slugfest when Aaron hit George in the gut, forcing the ape to cough up some blood. George responded in kind by smashing his fist across the Rogue Titan's jaw, nearly breaking it off with his powerful blow. The two beasts exchanged blows back and forth, George snarling at the Rogue Titan as he lumbered forward.
You may be stronger than I am, but there's one thing your dumb brain can't handle.
Ow, the
Aaron
edge.
thought to himself, being edgy even in his thoughts. The Rogue Titan shifted into position as George broke into a sprint, the ape barreling towards the Rogue Titan in a final attempt to end this.
I'm smarter than you!
Out the edge.
And then pass to Alex.
Pass.
Aaron and the Rogue Titan howled in fury as they easily ducked under George's fist, and the Rogue Titan brought his knee up and smashed it into the ape's stomach. George's eyes widened, and he coughed out as the Rogue Titan clasped his hands together, smashing them against the ape's back. With a grunt, the Rogue Titan hauled the ape onto his shoulder, and with a triumph bellow, launched him over the side of the wall again. George's bellows were drowned out as he crashed into the ground, dust flying into the air again. When Hanji and the remaining Survey Corps got there, they weren't surprised to find George back in his human form. They all looked up at the Rogue Titan standing on the wall and gave him a thumbs up as George was hauled away along with Ralph and Lizzie back to Mexico. Winner, the author.
Winner me.
Back to Mexico. Gosh. So first,
Winner
I'm just going to point this out now. As the guy who clearly edited this great match, how have I failed to notice the fact that it broke the rules? I guess
It's like the most flagrant rule breaking I think was ever done.
Yeah.
It was so good you forgot to edit it.
Yes.
Gosh darn it, Kaiju.
So blown away.
Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, yeah. For those a little lost on the whole rule breaking thing, the rule breaking here is the fact that third party members, being the Survey Corps in this case, killed Ralph and Lizzie. When ultimately it's only the combatants that are kind of allowed to kill each other. So yeah, that is a bit of against the rules. I was just in a bit of a rush trying to get this one out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna look it over, make edits where need be. So, and yeah, as mentioned, the fact that I was like, oh, it was so good, I forgot to edit it, kind of has some truth to it. So you can go ahead and say, "Gosh darn it, Kaiju X!"
Gosh darn it, Kaiju
Gosh darn it,
Kaiju X.
So how come the monkey was defeated last?
Are you
Guess
asking
he's a damn
seriously,
dirty
or?
How come? How come Ralph was defeated first? How come Lizzie was defeated second?
Because
Boy,
George
the order of
is-
Lizzie and Ralph really didn't. The order of Lizzie and Ralph really didn't. I wanted George to be the finale though, because he's kind of the unofficial representative leader of the Rampage trio. I think he's kind of the unofficial he's kind of like the unofficial mascot. So I'm
he's like the de
why
facto-
not?
Yeah, he's like the
So-
He's
de
like
facto
the de
mascot.
facto
He's
leader.
the leader of the Rampage crew.
So I guess it does make sense that the leader who not only leads Rampage, but America is a monkey.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So is this the part where we give our thoughts?
Yeah, let's go down the list. Birdzone, what do you think of the match?
I'm not really familiar with Attack on Titan or Rampage, so it's kind of a match for me. I do like the idea of what they did with having the Rampage characters appearing in the Attack on Titan universe through that. Yeah, can't really say much because I'm not very familiar with either franchise. But it was.
Well then, spoilers.
Joe. Yeah, spoilers.
All right, Joe, what do you think of it?
I really like this match. Even though I know little to nothing about Attack on Titan, and I have some knowledge on Rampage. I played one game, but I was able to enjoy this match and kind of understand the references to both Rampage and Attack on Titan. And I also like what Harley did with the Rampage monsters. I like the I like the backstory she gave to them.
Ow.
Oh, and I also like the idea of the Rampage monsters climbing the Colossal Titan.
Mmm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Kaiju X.
All right, I for one, as you could tell, I forgot to edit the bits where it's supposed to be. I don't know, one of the other guys somehow killing, like Rogue Titan killing the other two. But honestly, I guess that just goes to show I actually really enjoyed this match. I think if you're familiar with the series, I think the characters are. They're pretty. I'd say they're relatively close to how they are in the anime.
Yeah.
There is the essence. The essence of the characters are very much there. If you're familiar with Attack on Titan, I think it does a really good job at mixing in the Rampage characters within the universe without resorting to things like dimension hopping or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, they're just extra Titan shifter experiments that kind of went awry, and that I think is actually really cool given the environment. So. I really enjoyed this match. Characterization, I think it's for the case of the Attack on Titan characters, it may require knowing the anime, some knowledge of the anime to fully appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is. It is still pretty solid. You do get a basic idea of how the characters are for the most part, with a couple exceptions like Armin, who's a bit more minimalized in this particular match, but. Yeah, overall, characterization dialogue is pretty solid. I really enjoyed it. The fight itself was a lot of fun. I just really enjoyed it. I just really enjoyed it overall. So, yeah, great. Good one, Harley. You made a good one. Despite the fact that it broke the rules.
Yeah. But it was so good, he forgot to edit it.
Yes.
Nagoda. I'm pretty sure I shouldn't speak on my own match, so
of course.
Nagoda. I thought it was the greatest match ever. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nagoda.
Speak up, buddy.
I can hear you.
I
can hear
you.
I cannot hear him.
Get your hearing aids, Kaiju X.
This is what Nagoda said. I grew up on the Rampage series, so I very much appreciated it.
Okay.
You also appreciated the trio eating Titans and human.
Yeah, that was good.
Nagoda said yes.
Okay, cool.
I am the Nagoda translator.
For now.
He's Nagoda.
He said ha 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 ha.
Hang on a second.
Also, Nagoda.
Hang on a second. Alright, Nagoda.
Try now, Nagoda.
Hello?
Okay, there you are.
Hello?
I can hear him now.
Okay.
Nagoda said, "Fuck you, Kaiju X. I hope you burn in hell, you piece of shit. Go burn in a fire." Wow, Nagoda, I didn't know you were that good.
Wow. Okay, Nagoda. Let's try this again.
Okay, so since I grew up with the Rampage games, I liked how you had them actually go around eating both Titans and people, because usually when people write about Titans, they don't show Titans being eaten. Because, it's giant people, but that's the thing, they're giant people, so something should eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nagoda,
I guess that's all I have to say.
Nagoda said, I buy a fucking Titan or a Rampage monster.
Okay, that just leaves one person left. Great shot.
Okay. What did I think of the match? It sucked. Nah, I'm just kidding. I actually enjoyed this one. I really liked how the Rampage monsters were incorporated into the Attack on Titan universe. Even though I'm not familiar with the Attack on Titan universe, I still got a general idea on what it's kind of about, so that's good. I really liked how it was kind of like a character based, or there's more character to it, and there's kind of like a story to it. I really liked how the Rampage monsters were on the quote-unquote side of good, and then became feral, for lack of a better term.
nothing really changed. They just weren't attacking. They just had bigger priorities at the time. Like nothing really changed about the Rampage suit. It's just that once the Armored and Colossal Titan were gone, they
became the main villain. Yeah, I kind of liked how it changes, or like the villains change, so to speak, or the main threat. My only criticism is that it kind of ended abruptly.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there was like something more to it, like an aftermath, if that makes sense.
An epilogue.
Yeah, sort of something like that.
Yeah.
It just ends with the Rampage monsters getting deported to Mexico.
I'm pretty sure that the thing I can get here. No one here has actually watched Attack on Titan, but me.
Yeah.
And Kaiju. Now I have to ask: was it good enough to justify such flagrant rule breaking? Did I do a good job about that?
I think you did.
It was good.
Yes.
It was just more anticlimactic for
Yeah.
Lizzie and Ralph.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But did it warrant the rule breaking for one time only? Was it that good?
I'm not gonna. I don't blame Harley. I blame Kaiju X.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm the one who's calling you for that.
That's on you.
Yep.
I would have if Kaiju X, if you would have actually pointed that out to me, I would have happily changed it.
Oh, right, yeah.
But you didn't, so
Yeah, I didn't.
So,
It's all
does this
my
mean that-
fault. Duh.
oh gosh, darn it.
Gosh darn
So
it.
does this mean that Harley is the exception and not the rules in the KWCE?
The exception, not the rule.
The one-time exception.
Especially because I'm a verifier now for the KWCE. I have
It
to
all
enforce
works
the
out.
rules.
So Harley,
That's my punishment. I have to enforce the rules I broke.
when's the match where Anguirus turns to Mothra?
No, that was Megalon that turned into Mothra, you fool.
Oh yeah.
Why is Mothra that
wait.
turned into Megalon?
And Goda said, "I will cut open your skin, Harley, and wear your skin as a suit. I will become you."
So I have to write a match where Anguirus turns into Mothra and then into Megalon.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah, and it's a 5-headed Ghidorah.
Other than the one where King Ghidorah grows to 8 heads.
5 heads.
5 heads.
And don't forget
Dang.
don't forget that Mothra has Mogera's moveset too.
Animated
Oh yeah, that's right.
from the 2000s cartoon or the 70s one. Which?
Huh?
Hang on, I'm moving the mic away from myself so I can.
Wait, what the?
Well, anyway, with that said, this has been, this has been match number 8 or number 9. I apologize. I clearly had the wrong one in mind.
Gosh darn it, Kaiju X.
Gosh darn it, you can't do anything right for this match, can you?
No, I cannot. This has been KWCE match number 9, and we will see you guys next time for match number 10. Until then, folks.